Good morning. How you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you so much. It's January 16th, 9:12 in the morning. It's my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Amber. And we're cold. The whole country is cold, pretty much. I mean, there's a maybe California not doing too badly, but everyone else pretty cold. And snow coming down in the northeast, snow coming down in the northwest, and snow on the ground just about everywhere, including here. So Western Iowa is where I live, and I was walking through my dining room yesterday, and I looked out the window and hello. So I ran and got my Pixel phone and zoomed in and just got this beautiful shot of some deer walking on the property right through my dining room window. And please forgive my enthusiasm, but growing up, especially as a teenager, but really my whole life, I've just dreamed of living in a winter wonderland, and I'm living the dream right now, with almost 20 inches of snow on the ground and scenes like this right outside my window. It's just gorgeous. I'm enjoying it. It is very cold, though. Our wind chill warning expires at noon, so, it's still cold. And here's the snow on the ground currently across the United States. According to the GFS, this was as of midnight last night, so pretty close to what's going on. And you see most of the country has snow. Almost every state of the lower 48 has a little bit of snow or a lot of bit of snow. So obviously the Northwest, especially in the mountains, lots of snow, but the Willamette Valley in Oregon still hanging on to some snow. And of course, the Sierra Nevada, California. And then you get out into the plains, and the snow amounts go down in eastern Montana, but still a nice snowpack. Same for Wyoming and Colorado. And then where I live and near me, so eastern Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, through Iowa into Wisconsin, northern Illinois, Kansas, Michigan, off of the lakes, all of the lakes, so into northern New York as well. Just a lot of snow on the ground, 1 to 2 feet really, and some local amounts even higher. And we had blowing and drifting snow here in Nebraska and Iowa and into Illinois and Wisconsin, and so a lot of people snowed in for a long time. Even last night at the Iowa caucus, we were missing some people because they still couldn't get out, although the winds have relaxed and so the roads are getting better quickly. But another shot of snow maybe Thursday. We'll get into that. But then look at our southern snow. So there's some snow on the ground in Texas and Louisiana. And as you get into Tennessee and Kentucky and even Mississippi getting snow, most of the state. And northern Alabama as well. So lots of snow on the ground right now. And today's highs kind of reflect that. Not super warm. Now it is warming up in the west. So Oregon will start to see some of that snow melt. California looks to be fairly warm for mid-January. These are probably average temperatures, it looks like. And I would say the same for Arizona and into western New Mexico. That changes, though. Intermountain West still highs today, teens and 20s. And, east of the Rockies, that's what happens, that cold air spills on the east side of the Rockies. And so we're still seeing that cold air hanging on. These are today's highs. So 20s for most of Texas. 32 looks like Austin, and then above freezing as you get towards the coast and further south in Texas. But cold temperatures. Louisiana starting to warm up a little bit, but low to mid 30s. Even in southern Louisiana is cold. And of course, the core of the cold air still over the Midwest and northern plains where I live. Today's high finally getting above zero. A local meteorologist on one of the Omaha stations said this morning our 72 plus hour stretch of temperatures below zero, one of the longest on record for Omaha. So it's been cold, and we're going to warm up a little bit and then get back below zero towards the end of the week. Here are tonight's lows, and they are low, freezing all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Houston 24, San Antonio 19, and pretty much everywhere except, the Oregon, Washington coast, California, parts of Phoenix, parts of Arizona staying above freezing tonight, but much of the rest of the country below freezing, except again along the coast and maybe in Florida, further south. So cold air continues. Now we do have a storm in New England right now, and it's snowing. And these are the predicted snowfall amounts for the next 48 hours. So not an intense amount of snow, except off of the lakes where, back to a foot and a half for some. But otherwise, New York looking at 2 to 5 inches, Pennsylvania 1 to 3, Massachusetts 2 to 5, Connecticut a couple inches, northern New Jersey just a little bit more, another inch for New York City. And then you get up into Maine, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and it does pick up on the snowfall amounts. And then the Northwest is just going crazy with the snow for the next 48 hours. Not much in the lower elevations, western Oregon, western Washington, but you get up into the Cascades, you would expect more snow, and there it is. But really the big winners, and maybe the most dramatic on this map, would be, say, Kalispell, Montana, down to Missoula, basically northwestern Montana, looking anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow and some higher amounts. So even in the valley, getting quite a bit of snow for northwestern Montana, and those amounts go up as you get into the panhandle of Idaho. Spokane looks like 9 inches of snow here, almost 10. So quite a bit of snow for the so in the next 48 hours for the Pacific Northwest. So let's go to the GFS and see what's happening. So we're starting our maps here at 18Z. So you subtract 6, we're at noon Central Time, which is 3 hours from now, and this is kind of how the map looks. And there's our snow for New England. Not particularly heavy, but it is coming down still. And then a little bit of ice for Delaware and into Maryland, and a little bit of ice here in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. Otherwise, it's snow kind of heavy along the Maine coast and into Massachusetts. But otherwise, the cold air across the basically the eastern 2/3 of the country and into the Pacific Northwest in the mountainous areas. Now we see a storm approaching the Pacific Northwest, more ice for the Willamette Valley and Columbia River Gorge, and then rain elsewhere. And this storm in New England moves out. This storm in the Pacific Northwest continues to move in with ice moving up into western Washington. This right here would put us into Wednesday, 1 o'clock in the morning for the Pacific Northwest. Still a little bit of ice in the Willamette Valley, Columbia River Gorge up near Seattle. A silver thaw, if you will, with some rain coming down from much of the Oregon coast. And then the snow moving into the Intermountain West and into northwestern Montana. Some pretty heavy snows down around Salt Lake City, moving into Yellowstone in Wyoming, and some pretty good snows for the Pacific Northwest and the Cascades, of course, Siskiyous as well. And the rest of the country kind of clear, but the light snow continues to move a little bit eastward out of the Intermountain West into the plains, moving into Nebraska and South Dakota now. And then the heavier snows coming down for eastern Washington, northern Idaho, into northwestern Montana, and even eastern Oregon into Boise. Looks like a pretty good snow for you. And then also some snow moving into Colorado. Our freezing rain turning to regular rain for most of the Oregon lower elevations. Again, the exception, the Columbia River Gorge, where that east wind blows that cold air into there, and that dome of cold air gets rained into, and it freezes on contact. So treacherous conditions in the Columbia River Gorge, not unusual for this time of year, especially this kind of setup. You see the snow continuing as we get into Thursday morning for Idaho and Montana and into Wyoming. A little bit of light snow here, northern Ohio into Pennsylvania, but it is on the light side. And you see some lake effect snow coming down, mostly on the light side. So things fairly quiet except for the Pacific Northwest, where we're seeing a lot of rain along the coast, and then that's changing to freezing rain and snow as you get further east. And that continues. Then this next storm, still some more freezing rain up around Seattle as we get into Friday morning. I wanted to back this up because I wanted to show you something here. So this little clipper system moving into the northern plains into the northwest. So light snow coming down from Montana into South Dakota. And this is Thursday morning, 6 a.m. into Central Time. Light snow increasing across Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming. And then also light snow coming down for the Ohio Valley into Kentucky and Tennessee, and a little bit of ice here too near Memphis. And then that's rain further south. But we're getting a little more snow here in western Iowa, and we're expecting a couple inches overnight Thursday night, or should say late in the day Thursday into Friday morning. That's kind of the time frame on that. And then that moves into the Ohio Valley with mostly light snow, inch or 2 or 3 expected, and then we still see rain and freezing rain and snow in the Pacific Northwest. But as we get into Friday, behind this system, we're going to see another shot of cold air move in. So we'll show you those temperatures here in just a minute. And then this light snow continues into Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and along the Appalachians, and even the mid-Atlantic. Seeing some snow. North Carolina looks like you get missed out. Did I miss out on? Northern North Carolina, maybe a little bit. Certainly the mountains of North Carolina. This is as we get into the day Friday. But that light snow stays on the light side. And then we see a lot of rain moving into California. And that's not till Monday the 22nd into the 23rd. And this is getting a little far out, so we won't speculate too much more. But so things have mostly quieted down. A little bit more snow still for New England next day or so, and then really the bulk of the heavy snow is going to be now in the Pacific Northwest. And then that little clipper system moving through the Midwest around Thursday into Friday, and behind that, another shot of cold air. Temperature is getting really cold again for Iowa, negative teens to negative 20 below zero. Some wind with that, so we're going to have wind chill warnings again, I'm sure. And we're going to see low wind chill temperatures along with these low temperatures in Nebraska and South Dakota with lows in the negative teens, negative single digits, Minnesota, North Dakota, parts of Montana, the eastern part of the state. Wyoming, kind of really cold on the east side, not too bad on the west side. Same for Colorado. And those single digits even getting into Illinois and Ohio and Kentucky and down into Tennessee and northern Mississippi and Arkansas. So more cold air coming with a little bit more snow to add to our winter wonderland that's happening throughout most of the country. I still can't get over what happened yesterday at my house. This is just amazing. All I had to do was find my Pixel, zoom in a little bit, and snap it out my dining room window. Just incredible. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Happy birthday, Amber. And we'll update you, time allows, tomorrow here at the Weather Mic.